up? What up? What up? It's your man, Mr. Controversy. Did you miss me? I got my man right here.
Yeah, put a mic up, and the people can't hear you, man.
Can y'all hear me?
I'll make sure they got you, man. Well, first of all, this is Darren Smith, and of course, I got my guy, Mr. Controversy, and we are here live. Let me see. There you go. So we're live here from New Orleans, Louisiana, site of the NCAA Final Four championships, where Kansas will be taking on North Carolina tomorrow night, Monday night, at 7:29 Central Time, 8:29 Eastern Time. Of course, this is for the national title. Both teams coming in off of impressive wins. Of course, North Carolina come from behind win on Saturday night against the Duke Blue Devils. Kansas, of course, was victorious against the Villanova Wildcats. Now, looking at both games from yesterday, Kansas 33-6. Moving forward, Villanova ends their season at 30-8. Again, Kansas was victorious 81-65. What was your initial thoughts on that game yesterday?
Kansas was sizzling. Yeah, they were hot and they couldn't miss. Like I said earlier today, if this was the game you needed to be hot, that was the game, and they did it. And, I mean, McCormick came out, played well. You couldn't stop him. I mean, it was like dunk after dunk after dunk. And then the fact that Villanova, they started off cold. So by the time they did get hot, every time they made a run, Kansas was just able to answer. And it looks like it was revenge. You know, we talked about 2018. And as a matter of fact, the game started like that on the other side where Villanova was hot and Kansas couldn't, catch up. But it seemed like it was revenge. And I think what really got them going was the fact that Kansas represented here as far as fan-wise. I mean, it felt like it was 80-20 as far as fans. I don't know if you noticed that, but that's the way it felt. And, hey, man, I just say this. With Kansas, if they continue to play like that or play with the confidence, then you have Bill Self as your coach. It's going to be hard to stop these guys.
Oh, look, obviously a lot of fans remember 2018. I was there. And the game was over with after the first media timeout.
Yeah.
Villanova shot the lights out. They were hitting three-pointers after three-pointers after three-pointers. Kansas didn't know hit them. Now, granted, Kansas did come into that ballgame with some injuries. Udoka Azubuike has suffered a sprained ankle in the Big 12 tournament. And obviously, it was kind of lingering throughout the March Madness. But, that game was over when it was 22-4 after the first media timeout. There was just no way they were coming back. Villanova throwing up shots, hit everything on all cylinders. But be that as it may, we're looking, things changed. More things changed, more they can't remain the same. But Kansas, of course, was able to be victorious on Saturday night. But the second game, as our friend Vashtai would say, was the main event. It actually lived up to the billing. This is, for someone like myself who's in the Midwest covering Kansas, I've never been to a Duke UNC matchup, whether it's at Cameron Stadium or the other place where
Chapel Hill.
And so being here for that, and this is the first. And again, it's amazing that this is the first time that these two teams have met in the tournament ever. Like I know they have it to where they try not to have them meet in the first two rounds, but the fact that as long as these teams have played, whether they're in the same upper lower bracket or something like that, that they've never met up to play each other in the tournament. And so the fact that the first time it takes place is the Final Four, and it was the main event. I tell people, I'm someone who grew up on wrestling, love wrestling, WrestleMania. Obviously, this weekend it's probably going on right now, as a matter of fact. But the way that they introduced North Carolina first, they were the lower seeded in Duke. And then not only that, when they got to Mike, it kind of built to a crescendo. When they got to Mike Krzyzewski, the amount of cheers from Duke for him and the loudness of the boos from North Carolina against Mike Krzyzewski, it's like there's no gray area with him. Like you either like him or you don't. And it was, when I say the the volume capacity could have blown the roof off, that's not an understatement.
I call it perfect harmony. It was perfect harmony. The boos, the cheers. And the feeling is mutual, So it was great, and it was my first time covering the Final Four. Actually, covered the Sweet 16, and different tournaments, but as far as to be here for the Final Four, and yes, I'm talking media, but talking as a fan now, to be able to witness that, and the first time ever that has happened, possibly Coach K's last game. I'm talking before the game. They're playing to go to the championship. Everything comes in to play, and to be here for that, like he stated, to hear the fans. I believe you had celebrities cheering. It was crazy. They dimmed the lights. Remember how they dimmed the lights? Like it felt like WrestleMania. It did.
I will say this now: a lot of look, unless you go to Lawrence, the Allen Fields to watch a KU home game, perhaps from time to time at the Sprint Center, now T-Mobile Center. I'm hoping that in the championship game, as you know, when they get ready to announce the lineups, or whatever, that they actually show, the intros that the teams use, because one, if you've never seen Kansas's pregame thing where it shows, the 5 national titles and Mario Chalmers hitting the game-winning shot, I'm telling you, that is, for me. I like driving 45 minutes from Kansas City to Lawrence just for that. Now, that's a lot of gas to be wasting with the high gas prices. But if you've never experienced Allen Fields, I'm hoping that they allow these teams to play there. And I should have asked the PR guy today about that, but maybe tomorrow they'll surprise us and let these teams do it, because it will not only get the stadium rocking, but obviously, if you're a Kansas Jazz fan, it'll get you up and going. But man, this has been an exciting adventure so far, and I'll be honest. I actually thought that Duke was going to win the game.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be KU Duke. And and I was in a way, and it looked like it was going to be that way for most of the game until North Carolina made their made their run last night over to Duke towards the very end. But I tell you, had it been Duke, I thought Duke would have gave Kansas some problems because of their height, their athleticism. Kansas' tallest player is David McCormick, and he's about 6'10". Okay, well they got a couple of those boys that's in the starting lineup, and of course their center is 7'1", and Banchero stands 6'10", and he can hit you from the outside, inside, and he can take you off the dribble. I mean, he would have caused Kansas some problems. Which again, I'm glad at the end of the day,
Okay.
it ended up being. I think North Carolina is a better matchup for Kansas, but I think that Duke would have gave Kansas. Not to say that they would have won, but they would have gave Kansas KU the business.
I think what happened was, and Duke had the lead most of the game, but it was close all game. I think the pressure of knowing it's Coach K's last game affected the players. Remember, they missed free throws at the end.
Yeah, well, I mean, they missed 8. I think they missed 8 free throws, maybe 10. But I don't want to. No, I don't want to say it was just. I mean,
Because they got tight. I believe they got tight at the end because North Carolina didn't. Now, of course, they were more clutch, but it just seemed like Duke was playing well. They were playing well until when it got down to the end, they started making careless mistakes. They got tight. I felt like the pressure came, okay, because they did hit some big shots also, but certain players, they got tight.
Well, shots were going back and forth. And look, I will say this, and people hate it, but I'm saying sometimes your greatest strength can be your weakness at certain points in the game. Duke had a lead. I think North Carolina took it down. Duke took the lead back, increased their lead. I think they may have been up by 6, and it might have been about 6.5 minutes left. I was telling our colleague Jamal Murphy from the Bill Roden Sports to say what Duke needs to do now is they need to slow the ball down. Like they really need to try to get a shot with about 5 seconds left instead of trying to run up and down the court, because right now, because they weren't taking good shots, unlike North Carolina. And the thing is, North Carolina, while they were taking shots, if they missed it, they were getting the rebounds, obviously. But Bacot had 21 rebounds, so he was getting everything that was going to the glass. So they're not able to get the defensive rebound, and they're able to get second chance shots. And the second chance shots they're getting are 3-point shots. The shots that when Duke is coming down taking shots, they're driving to the basket, but they're just throwing up shots versus getting good shots or trying to take 3-point shots that weren't good looks. And so because they were doing that, they were missing shots again, which in turn was giving away points because they weren't scoring points while the other team was getting points to come back with.
And kind of that's what I mean. I mean, yes, they missed free throws, like I stated, but I think the fact that they didn't play Duke basketball at that point is like they kind of got off rhythm. They weren't as focused as they were
But
beforehand.
somebody watching will ask, what exactly is Duke basketball? Because against North Carolina the second time around it didn't work, and
Well,
then you try
you
to do it
have
again.
you have Paulo coming down. You give Paulo the ball. You know, Paulo's going to make something happen. But it just seemed like when he got the ball, he didn't know what to do. He was kind of, I don't want to say panicking, but
Now, I
he
won't say it now. I won't say because from my viewpoint, I think every time they were putting I think Manic on him, they was putting 45 Manic on him. I mean, he was giving him the business. He was
right.
now there was a shot that they blocked, but other than that, he was giving him the business and was able to get down. But even the shots that he was getting and taking down low, if it goes off the rim, they didn't have anybody around the rim to rebound. To try to get
True,
the offensive
but
rebound.
I don't think that at close to the end that he was getting to the rim. Then, like the last few minutes, I'm saying he wasn't doing what he was doing beforehand. Now, of course, the defense ramps up from North Carolina. I understand that, but it just seemed like they were playing out of pocket, and that was what I was saying as the game was going on. The last few minutes, I'm like, they're getting tight right now. They're not playing like they were the first or the last 5 minutes, and then North Carolina they stepped up. And speaking of clutch, so I got a chance to ask Manic today about, he hit a big shot. Remember, Love hit a few big shots, and I asked him, when it comes to that, is it one of those things like, all right, you take this one, or I'll get this one? He said, man, it's just a feel. When we play together, it's a feel. How the game goes, we don't really talk about it. It's brotherhood, and of course, that was the reason why they won. But I just felt like Duke didn't have that when it came down to the end. I really believe that that pressure they kind of got tight.
Looking back at the first game of obviously Kansas winning 81-65. Big game for both David McCormick, who had 25 points, 9 rebounds, Ochai Agbaji, 21 points. The silent hero though out of this game to me was Jalen Wilson. When I looked at the stats
Mm,
at the end of that, I was like, hold on, he had a double, 11
right.
points, 12 reasons. I'm looking through the game, I'm like, I don't remember him being active around the board, but he was. And now that I think about it, in hindsight, looking at yeah, I can remember he was getting some rebounds off the glass and then kicking it out. So, looking at this matchup for tomorrow night, we've got Kansas, number one seed, the remaining number one seed left at 33-6. North Carolina's 29-9. I talked to Christian Brown earlier today during the breakout, and I asked him, I said, your first impression of North Carolina when you all got a chance to watch them play against Duke was what? Talked about the rebounding, and he said that from what they saw on film this morning, and the message that Coach Self was telling them is that you've got to, obviously want to make the shots, but even if not, you've got to be able to crash the boards. I mean, because Bacot, I mean, again, he was like a magnet. He had, I mean, hell, he had 40% of the rebounds
Yeah.
in Saturday night's game against Duke. So, you know, looking at that, McCormick knows that, down low, he's got to have a big game. What I do like from what Kansas did in last night's game that they sometimes get away from is they were feeding the big man. Again, if you get him active, and I've said this on my radio show, is that David McCormick could have been a beast at the college level. He came in 6'10" from what is it, Oak Hill Academy, and this dude is looks like Anthony Joshua. I mean,
Yeah.
he's cut, he's sculpted. It's like if he just but because he looks like it, he also plays like him. Where it's like he's too kind. I'm like, man, I need you to get thorough,
Right.
get down and dirty, and because it's like with your natural strength and your size, nobody should be able to take you down in the block. And he has gotten to the point where, he's down, he's down in the block and he's called for the ball. And sometimes I have to yell, man, throw the damn ball. I mean, and yeah, it's funny because where I was sitting, his family was like, get the ball inside. And he get the ball inside. I mean, he's able to he was getting dunks off yesterday, getting offensive rebounds, and he's real active. And that's what you want. If your big man is active and he's getting points, and the other thing is he can hit free throws. What was he last night? He was 5 of 6 from the free throw line last night. So you got a big man that can shoot, which means you need to get him the ball early and often. So if anything else, he'll have a chance to get their players in foul trouble because look, he'll either get the and one or he'll get in foul trouble. He'll get a chance to shoot 2 free throws, possibly knock them down, and put their big men on the bench. So now it opens up the middle a little bit more, And so if you get the ball underneath to him, they try to foul him or collapse underneath. You can kick it back out. You got to open 3. So that's what I've liked recently that I've seen Kansas doing, especially in last night's game, was get David McCormick involved.
Well, like you said, he has to be active. He can't get outworked, and you want to get him active first. Get backward in foul trouble. Get him because right now he's still not 100%, and he talked about how he feels like he's still going to play, but he said it's a little sore. Talked about it today, but he said he's going to play. He's going to be ready, but still, how it used to be back in the old days. I shouldn't say old days because I'm not that old, but either or.
I don't know. Speak for yourself.
I guess I am old, but no. But if you had a wounded duck, you go at him. You go at him, and if they get him in foul trouble, then you don't have to worry about rebounding. But he cannot get outworked by him or by any of the North Carolina Tar Heels. He has to be the man that's, I guess you have to go through him. That way, if they can't stop him, then you create a double team. Now you got Braun and Ochai, got them shooting. So, but it has to go through him, I believe, if you're playing against this Tar Heels team.
One of the things that I like about Coach Self is that somehow they go about 6 deep. Really 7 if Mitch Lifford gets extended time. He got 9 minutes last night, but for the most part, they only went 6 deep. And Remy Martin, this was the first game I think throughout the tournament he wasn't really a real big spark plug to the offense. He was only looking at this. He only scored 2 points, I think it was, and so he didn't score a lot at all last night. 3 points. Mitch Lightfoot had 2 points in the ball game. But the thing that helped Kansas, again, talk about the shooting in the first Final Four against Villanova where they shot the threes out. KU jumped out. Now, both teams had 13 3-point shots, but Kansas, because they jumped out to that big lead, I think the biggest they had a 19-point lead where it was 38 to 19. Mm-hmm. That was their biggest lead. So when they were doing that, they had such a big lead that obviously by they're hitting threes, it's coming later in the ball game, but the game was already stretched out. They cut it down to I think about 6 before Kansas expanded the lead and took off because obviously Christian Braun he had 2 threes. One, he hit it from behind his elbow over here, mm-hmm. where he looked at me and I was like, damn, and the media guy was like, he threw up a hope and a prayer, and it went in. But then he shot a 3-point shot in front of their bench, and when he hit it, he came down and looked. He looked down and started talking trash. I asked today what he said. He didn't want to. He didn't
elaborate.
He didn't want to repeat it. So if they win, I'm gonna post out. Hey, man, what the hell did you say? Because I want to know. Because that's the street ball aspect that he had. But both of these teams. Well, one. Nobody expected North Carolina to be here.
No.
Kansas was kind of expected, number 1 seed, so you kind of expected number 1 seed to get here. So Kansas had expectations to be here, and they wanted to be, last year I think they lost in the first and second round in Indianapolis when it was in the bubble. 2 years ago, when they had the best team in all of college basketball, the season, the playoffs got cut off because of the pandemic, because of COVID. So this year's team is really playing for 2020. That particular team, there were some players that was on this team that's on that team, but a lot, this is what they feel like unfinished business. And that 2020 team is much better than what this team was because you had a whole lot more players on that team that's on this team. But when you stop and look at how things unfold, this, I think even Charles Barkley said last night that he thinks Kansas. Now that's a kiss of death or not, but he's picking Kansas to win.
So Charles Barkley was rooting for Villanova the whole game. I don't know. Did you see that? Charles Barkley kept clapping his hands. Okay, he wants
his daughter. He did pay for his daughter to go to school. So
Right,
I can
true, true. I
understand that.
get it. But
I get that.
you know,
And I think he inducted Jay Wright into the Hall of Fame.
oh, okay, okay.
So,
Still,
I ain't mad at him.
I ain't mad at him either. I was we were laughing, but I will say, if it's close, I believe it's going to go. The advantage goes to North Carolina. You have so many killers on that team, so many people who make big shots. So for Kansas to win this game, you have to dominate from the beginning. You know, get you an 8-point cushion, so that way it's at least an 8-point cushion. That way, Carolina is fighting back to come back, and then by the time they get back, they'll probably be tired. Villanova, the same thing. They fought the whole time. When they got it down to single digits, by then they're tired. So Kansas has to dominate. But with North Carolina, they have to play smart, can't play hero ball. I think the fact that we talked about it today on your show is the fact that with Hubert Davis is the unknown. You don't know what he's going to do. You don't know how he's going to react being his first game coaching in the finals, in the championship game. Yes, he's been here as an assistant. He's won as an assistant. He's been in the Final Four as a player, but it's different coaching. But because you don't know, because it's his first year, we don't know if he's going to come out and wet the bed or he's going to be great. We don't know. Well, now we know some. We know what he's going to do.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you, man, thinking about it and thinking about being at both of the presses today, these coaches, they're going to have their players playing. I don't think you have to worry about them coming out tight. You know, I mean, because I think they got that out of the way Saturday night. You know, so they played in front of 70,000 folks, so they got that out of the way. Now, granted, obviously because of what's on the line, yeah, you might miss some early on, but I think once the first shot, once the player's first shot goes down, okay, boom, kind of gets them out of that. I'm nervous or whatever. Okay, I feel like okay, I got everything that that I need to do, and and they'll feel like they're in a rhythm, and so listen to Hubert Davis, early day, and of course Bill Self. I mean, they exude confidence. They both they both been in a situation. Coach Self's been coaching for about 30 years. This is I think his third chance at a national title, and so. Yeah, I mean, he knows what's at stake. I think it's more pressure on Coach Self versus Coach Davis because, again, nobody expected North Carolina to be here. But, of course, battle of the Blue Bloods, I think of all time, I think Kansas has the most wins. I think Kentucky and then North Carolina. So, I mean, so these are some serious Blue Bloods in the national championship game. Obviously, TBS, loves having this type of matchup involved, right. For these teams. But no, I mean this is for everything, man. But I really think that it's going to be a great game. Kansas is a 4-point favorite. So who you see winning this game?
I still have North Carolina. I have them winning 81-78. 81 has been a magic number in the Final Four. So both teams won the game. They scored 81 points. So 81-78, North Carolina.
I've got Kansas winning. I am willing to give North Carolina the points. So I think it's going to be that close because the one thing that I will not take for granted is the heart of these players because we saw as much as they were down, as much as North Carolina was down against Duke, and then they took the lead, got back down, and then came back to the lead. They're never out of a ball game, and so and the only way you're going to do it, is going to play is you got to play a complete 40 minutes ball game. Like for me, Kansas can't have the type of have that they had against Miami or against Providence.
Right.
And so for me, the second half of what we saw against Miami, that has to be the Kansas, basically the Kansas that we saw Saturday night.
That's right. Yeah.
If they can come out, hit the shot, and get a lead, I'm confident enough in Remy Martin and Wilson and Ocha that they and look, Self, he knows what time it is, but I just hope that if shots aren't falling or whatever, again, you don't want to rush. You don't have to rush shots. Take the best shot. Take the shot clock down 3-5 seconds. If you have to go ice or whatever, that's fine. But, get them out of their tempo and have them adjust to yours. Now, if you get a chance, obviously you get a rebound, fast break, boom, dish it out. get you a dunk or something. Now, I will tell you this: if there's an out of bound play and North Carolina ain't prepared for it, they're gonna get the Oach. Oach gonna take him to church. You don't want that. You don't want that.
Don't want that.
They know they don't want, and so now I will say this, for people who are watching, we do have some haters, what I'm saying, because I have a cousin that was hoping Duke was gonna win. I checked on him. He hadn't called me back yet. I don't know if he's still around. I got people like my guy Marcus Kansas not gonna. She's like, well, he also thought Kansas was gonna lose, and he also thought Duke was gonna lose. So, thought Duke was gonna win.
Right.
So, I need them to get their haterism out. I know Missouri. I know K-State is not in this Final Four. They never have. They never will be. But this is, But I'm going with Kansas. I think Kansas wins it. I'll stick with the 81 mantra, but I'll go 81-77 again. I think North Carolina covers the 4-point spread, but I think at the end of the night, Kansas will cut down the nets. Be the team cut down.
So let me ask you this: Coach K, he lost last game, lost to North Carolina. We all know that. But what I want to know,
that could have been a national title game right there,
right? But
knocking him off.
And I'll say this, and I want you to answer also. Tell me what you thought. I think it was the perfect ending. I'm going to tell you why. Not for him, but more so just for sports. I'm going to tell you why. Yes, we all know the perfect ending would be he wins, he beats North Carolina, he wins the championship.
That would have been just for Duke. That wouldn't have been for America.
But my point, it would have been like the perfect, fairy tale ending. No, to me, it is the perfect ending with him going out to North Carolina. As we talked about it today, North Carolina was the first team. They beat him in his first game, I think. And then he loses to them his last game.
And his career record against him is 50-50.
It's 50-50. Perfect. My point. Perfect. Then the fact that it wasn't even for the championship, the fact that you can't get to the championship, but yet still he's so great that it doesn't put a stain on his resume.
Well, it's not gonna put a stain, but hold on. But I'm also not gonna say that's the perfect way, because that ain't the storybook ending that he would want.
No, well, not the perfect way for him. I'm saying for sports.
Yeah, but still, I ain't gonna lie. TV networks probably would have preferred Duke and Kansas. Yeah, because again,
right.
You got one more game you can milk out this whole Mike Krzyzewski stuff.
But that's TV. But let me ask you this. But I'm talking about for sports. But I'm asking you this.
Well, no. Hold on. Here. For sports, you would still want Duke because no. Listen, because now everybody in America is rooting for Kansas to beat Duke in the national title to make sure that Coach K doesn't get that national title to walk off to the sunset.
True, but you see how America was acting. You've all watched the movies, and you watch a movie, and you know what's going to happen in the end. The guy's going to get the woman. He's going to save the day, and they're going to live happily ever after. But sometimes those movies, when the villain wins, don't act like you don't like that. That's a good movie right there. That's a great movie because you didn't see that coming. And I believe the fact that it was all written like, hey, Duke's probably going to win. The fact that because it's his last go around, even when he made it to the Final Four and North Carolina made it to the Final Four, you was thinking like, see, here we go. This is scripted. This is, but no, that, yeah. Exactly. But it didn't happen like that. And I think it made for a great finish like that.
It didn't happen because the refs didn't get paid enough. You know what I'm saying? Mike Krzyzewski didn't give him that look enough. I mean, there was times.
Oh man!
I think they called a foul on one of his players, and Mike, and I think I got a good shot of that. Yeah, the Coach K is that character. But no, I mean, to answer your question, I think I do believe that the best scenario would have been Coach K and Duke in a championship game losing to Kansas. I mean, because that just would have. To me, I think that would have been poetic. Again, I've got no problem with North Carolina because, Coach Davis said that, he hadn't heard from Michael Jordan, but said that although he would like for Jordan to be here, he liked for Jordan to be still playing.
Right.
I thought that was hilarious. Yeah. I can't argue with that because that's be their best chance to win.
And I would say this, the fact that even if Duke lost, say if Duke beat North Carolina and they lost to Kansas in the finals, for Duke and everybody else who loves the Duke-North Carolina rivalry, it wouldn't matter because they beat North Carolina. Just like now, you want North Carolina to win if you're a North Carolina fan, but I've talked to North Carolina fans. They say, you know what, at this point, we want to win, but it doesn't matter. We beat Duke. We beat Coach K in his last game.
But that's what I just said moments ago. Is that could, last night could have been their championship game, to where, again, I still think that he'll have them ready to play.
Mhm.
But a lot of their energy was spent on last night trying to get past Duke. So you got to see what they come up with.
What you think about Coach Hubert? Do you think that Hubert Davis is good for the next 15 years as a coach?
Oh, he good, man. He ain't got to pay for nothing back in Raleigh.
He ain't got to worry about losing his job for the next few years.
I ain't gonna say that now. Yeah.
Man, he beat Coach K
He beat Coach K, but let's not.
He beat him twice now in his first year.
I know, but let's not fool. I mean, this is still. Come on, after.
Yeah, you're right. It's still, I feel. I'm right there with you.
But I think he's good for a while. And why I would say this, it will help with recruiting.
Yeah, it will.
It's definitely going to recruit. And so players to watch for tomorrow night. Obviously, we talked about Bakar with the rebound. Of course, he's coming off. I think he's got an ankle injury, sprained ankle. But Caleb Love, Jamal has told me that if he gets hot, that's the player that Kansas needs to make sure doesn't score more than 25 points. I'm like, well, damn, why I got to be 25? I mean, can we hold him down to 15 or something? Why I got to be 25? I don't want him getting that many points. If you get that many points, he's giving KU the business. So obviously, the matchup or the players to watch: Ochai Agbaji from Kansas City, Caleb Love from Ochai Agbaji from Kansas, by way of Kansas City, versus Caleb Love, who is from St. Louis, Missouri. By way of the Carolina Tar Heels.
Shout out to White Castles. I think Lee Black, though, is going to be the
Shout out to UNC with the names.
Yeah, and that's a dope name, by the way. But I think Leaky Black is going to be the X factor. If he can come in and give them some great minutes, and it doesn't have to be and stats as far as scoring or rebounding. The hockey assists, that hustle play. Defense. He can hit 2 shots in the game, but if he hits the most important shot with 2 minutes left, you're down by 1 or down by 2, or you're up by 1 and you hit a big 3. I think he's going to be the X factor.
I ain't gonna lie. The one thing I can't tell you, I don't know if I can take any overtime.
No overtime?
Nah, man, because overtime is going to have me thinking. It's going to have me thinking that it might not go in the direction I want him to go.
Right, because you want Kansas to win. Makes sense.
I mean,
no, right. I got you. Yeah, it makes sense. Well, I thought it was going to go overtime last night.
Now, I was hoping overtime last night. That I could, because that would have Duke had a chance to win. I don't know. It's part of me. I really wanted a Duke KU matchup, man.
No, I did too. I won't lie. I did too. I mean, first of all, again, I talk about the perfect ending, but
I just like I
wanted to see them play because that.
Well, for me,
the coaches,
the coaches, and the chess matches. Now, look, nothing against Super Davis, but I'm just saying that you see a Mike Krzyzewski, Bill Self, because of Coach K's lineup that he has. I want to see what type of chess pieces Coach Self, was going to put out there against him.
Well, I don't know if you were still in there, but Hubert Davis talked about today the timeout. So he was talking about his coaching. He was at when he talked about was it RJ was at the lineup?
Yeah, it was our.
I can't remember who. Was,
might have been Caleb Love, but be that I know he talked about a regret that he had. He said that when he made the first one, he was going to call a timeout because of something that I think that happened when he was coaching the junior varsity team or might have
and he decided, you know what, let me call this timeout in the middle. He shoots a free throw. I'm gonna call a timeout. I don't want to ice him, but even if we ice him, I want to make sure that we get back on defense, that we know our defensive assignment. So that's coaching. Like you don't get that from a rookie coach in a big moment like that.
Yeah, but he just ain't some rookie like you just like a Jasmine. You just come off the, you just come in where you just plugging somebody. I mean, he been on that staff for 9 years.
Yeah, but it's a lot of coaches that come off staff for 10 years and can't coach.
I get that. I get
but
that.
I hear what you're saying.
I get that. Well, look, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and joining us. We are less than 25 hours away, I believe, from tip off. So make sure tomorrow your tubes are tuned into TBS or whatever mega cast they got going on tomorrow night. for the game. Shout out to the women's Final Four. I know the championship game between South Carolina and UConn, that's going to be tipping off in about 25 minutes. We're going to be somewhere to watch that because it is my birthday. I am going to go get something to eat. I'm off my 48-hour fast. And so we're going to go eat and enjoy the game and WrestleMania and everything. So, Ralph, let everybody know where they can tune in, where they can find you, reach out to you on social media.
First of all, don't worry. I'm going to make sure he has a good time tonight. So y'all don't worry about that. Anyway.
Responsibilities. I'm working tomorrow.
But no,
all I might do is gamble. That's about it.
Make sure y'all follow me on social media. The 3-point conversion, all social media outlets, YouTube, subscribe, the 3-point conversion. .com. Y'all see, this is how you spell the 3-point conversion. Also, me as personally at Mr. Controversy 21. See how we're doing it live and everybody's in the building. Players that can't shoot, but I know, right? But yeah, just make sure y'all follow me, man. Hey, Dan, man, appreciate this, man. Always good to do this.
No problem. Of course, you can tune in Sunday mornings on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Tune into the ship 8 from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Also on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 9 p. Excuse me, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on KLKC Fox Sports Radio in Parsons. So, look, want to thank everybody for tuning in. We are, as you see, live on the court site of the NCAA championship game tomorrow, featuring the North Carolina Tar Heels and the Jayhawks of the University of Kansas for the national title. And again, tip-off is at 7:29, and you can actually listen to the game on both KLKC Fox Sports Radio along with Sports 10 WHB. So until then, peace. We out.